We are approaching 1 million subscribers on our YouTube channel. Can't believe we're even close to this. Can't thank you guys enough. If you haven't already, please go hit that subscribe button. Lots of fun NBA content coming your way.
Can I ask you a USA question? Because I was with you for part of it. What was the Ant experience like then? What is it like now? I think you guys at the time could tell just that he was sort of taking this leap, but seeing what he's done, you just mentioned the T-Wolves, and they're going to have 2 All-Stars. Can you talk about this? You've known him for a long time. You've been close to him for a long time, but can you talk about where he is now as a player?
Yeah, I mean, Ant is amazing. Like, the stuff that he does on the floor is ridiculous. Like, that first game against Germany where he just took over the whole second half, that was like the greatest performance I've ever seen in person. I was like almost in awe. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was like, bro, you look like it's like the Bean right now. Like, the one he shot the baseline fade and double pumped over Schroeder. I was like, no, that's like, in the moment, I was like, no way you even thought about doing that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, seeing him every day, the way he works, and his approach to the game and the competitor that he is. Like, the 5-on-5 runs we had were always like elite, and like it felt like his team was always majority of the time winning, and like he was defending. Like, he can do everything. I think Ant is, probably the best player at his position, the future of the league for sure. So just to be there with him and see him every day was very special, and it's no surprise that he's doing what he's doing, and it ain't gonna stop for a long time.
How soon until he's legit, undisputed top 5 player? Because it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I would say probably like 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years, probably. Like, he can defend too. That's what separates him. Like, he is an elite defender. Like, that's the thing with Minnesota. Him and Jaden are elite point of attack defenders. Then you got Rudy behind them. And special. I give it 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Jetty B. Plain writes, do you feel players nowadays are taught to know offense and not offense? I think Jetty B. Plain meant to write, do you feel players nowadays are taught to know offense and not defense? Seems like a simple question, but I actually want to get into this a little bit. You guys, as Tommy mentioned, number 1 offense in the league, struggling a little bit defensively. Back-to-back 50 balls by your opponents. I think when people watch the NBA, a casual observer, when they watch the NBA and they see a bunch of 3-point shots going up and they see people getting blown by, right? They think it's literally a lack of defense. And I have an issue with this because I think the NBA is much more sophisticated and complicated than the levels at which most people played, which was college basketball and high school basketball. The difficulty of guarding the greatest athletes in the world in space is often overlooked. And all our league now is space. All our league now is pace. Nearly everyone on the court can shoot, or you don't have to guard them, and those people stick out like a sore thumb. The answer to a pick and roll when you're surrounded by like even with you and Miles Turner, like the answer, okay, Miles Turner is going to pop, but then sometimes he doesn't and he rolls. It's like, let's go get a late veer. Oh shit, Miles Turner rolled this time. Like it's incredibly complicated. And so if you can't process all these things happening at once, you don't play in the NBA. There's a reason that offenses are on an uptick, and it's not because they're not being taught defense. It's because these guys are so fucking good and everyone can shoot and everybody plays in space because they can shoot. And it's not for lack of effort or for lack of teaching. Like, I just think it's really hard to get stops in the NBA. Not to mention the fact that there's guys like Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic. Like, these guys are otherworldly offensive players. Some of the best offensive players of all time, in my opinion. This is not about not being taught defense or not wanting to play defense. Like, you can't guard Joel Embiid if there's 4 shooters on the court. It's impossible.
Yeah, as a fact, and I think that something that's downplayed is freedom of movement. Like in the NBA today, you can't touch anybody defensively.
Well,
Like,
hold on a second. How do you mean by that? Because I'm sitting courtside at the game Saturday. I'm watching Dennis Schroeder pick up full court. He's got his hands on everybody.
I mean, not me, but there are certain guys in the NBA, if they drive and you put 2 hands on them, they are elite at selling. They're elite at ripping through and, getting your arm caught, which I feel like we're at a time right now where we have some of the best players ever at that, whereas there wasn't. I feel like players today are better than that than they've ever been in any era of, ripping through hands, finding hands, and kind of going through that. But I think that in space, like full court, you're allowed to, get into guys, be physical. But I feel like when driving, it is so tough. Like Giannis shot 20 free throws against us, 18, I think. He was 16 to 18. And like when a guy like that is running full speed at you, what are you supposed to do? Because like if you back up, you're gonna dunk it. And sometimes if you try to stand him up, they're gonna call it's a foul because it probably is a foul. Like I'm not saying out of the 18 free throws that none of them were fouls. Honestly, he probably should have shot 22, 24, realistically. But like, what are you supposed to do when a guy's doing like
right?
Joel,
and if you build the wall, he's going to kick out to 3. Like Joel, by the way, is literally. I mean, Harden for years was the best, but like Joel is the best. Like he had one against you guys last night where you guys are doubling, he's baiting it, and then he kicks out. Does that a couple times, and then he sees that the double guy is taking a terrible angle, and he goes right between them, and he does the little rip through, the low gather, foul, 2 shots, right? You do it all the time, too, when you go to your right hand. You do it all the time.
I'm going low rip every time. If I see her, I'm going low rip every time.
Yeah.
But this is the thing that makes me the sickest defensively. CP used to do it, and Joel does it now. They catch it, they see the hand, guarding them like this. They rip through, and they don't even attempt a shot. They just walk to the free throw line. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, oh, my God. He didn't even attempt to shoot it. Like, he's just so smart. CPs do it all the time. CP catch it, see there's 4 fouls about to be in the bonus. Oh, not even shoot it, just walk right to the free throw line. Be like, oh, my, this guy, man.
And then
what are you supposed to do?
Tell you how stupid you are for not knowing the scouting report.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so frustrating.